very few men or boys are going to react well to the idea that there's something toxic inside of them.
That's not what toxic masculinity, that's not what that means. Why are you, what more perfect union? Why are you lying about the definition? Toxic masculinity doesn't mean masculinity is toxic. Toxic is an adjective to describe the masculinity. So even if you are masculine, that doesn't mean you're toxic, man. That'd be like saying, you know, because a person could be like, well, your hand has shit on it. You have a beshitted hand. What, now everyone with hands got shit on it? I'm sorry, I'm pretty tired. That was pretty weak, guys. You understand my point? Nobody arguing the definition of toxic masculinity is saying it should mean, oh, well, every man is toxic. That doesn't mean anything.
Be exorcised.
It's just weird to me. What more perfect union is like a lefty channel? Why lie about the definition?
I didn't try to raise my sons to be not toxic. That's not a very empowering message.
What are you talking about? You might not have used the word toxic, but you probably taught them important moral lessons. Like you shouldn't punch people because you're angry, right? Like, you don't have to use the word toxic. The term toxic masculinity it's an academic term. It describes a phenomena.
I think if anything, it's the opposite, that the term toxic masculinity will sort of drive more boys and men away.
Is this a right-wing channel? Am I off on is More Perfect Union Strasserist? Is this like a Blue Dog Democrat channel? What is this?
To the online manosphere, where they'll be reassured at least that there's nothing wrong with them and that it's actually the liberals who are out to get them.
Listen, if you're a guy and you come across the term toxic masculinity and you get offended, genuine, there's no two ways about it. You are retarded and you're very insecure. I'm not cushioning that in any way. Flat out, you failed the IQ test, okay? Read a fucking book or Google the definition. Like, stop, like, Jesus Christ, you're outsourcing your thinking to the world's stupidest grifters, okay? This is a you fucking problem. Yeah, and a lot of people are retards. Look, let me tell you this, okay? There's a big grifter industrial complex out there. There is absolutely no way to criticize any bad element about any group of people without somebody telling you, oh, you're only alienating them by doing that. Fuck that. I don't think so little of men that I assume that literally any cultural critique has to be met with a bunch of like disingenuous ball coddling first, you know? It's fucking ridiculous. They don't do it. Imagine if Sargon of Akkad was like, actually, I won't criticize Muslims who come to the West and rape little girls, because if I did that, I would only be stigmatizing the behavior and discouraging Muslims who come to the West from listening to me. Do you think he believes that in all cases? Do you think he, in all instances, he thinks it's a good idea to avoid criticizing bad behavior because it alienates the people you're trying to reach? Ridiculous.
But also, at a deeper level, what this means is that we miss the opportunity to address the real structural problems facing many boys and men, when instead we focus on the toxic flaws in those individual men. So if they're...
Generalized statement that means nothing. This means nothing. What do you mean? We can't talk about general issues men are experiencing. Toxic masculinity also negatively affects the guys who they're the primary victims. Easy for you to say as a fairly self-actualized 30-something. A lot of 12-year-old boys are absolutely vulnerable to hearing shit like toxic masculinity and taking it at face value as an indictment of men. They would take any criticism. Listen, you can't not teach guys about toxic masculinity because you're afraid of them getting offended. Do we not teach them virtue? You can't say it's wrong to hit people when you're mad at them. That'll alienate guys. What do you mean? They don't listen. The term toxic masculinity is an academic thing. Are we we permit bad behavior? We can't teach virtue. The problem is that there is a grifter complex of people who make their money off of soothing the egos of retarded, emotionally damaged 12-year-old boys who are incels to be. Okay? This is a cultural issue that needs fixing. But I reject the idea that, like, well, you can't teach slavery in schools. You'll make the white boys uncomfortable. What are you talking about? I don't know. I just want to say things that are true. It is true that if you think it's masculine to beat your wife, that's bad. That's true. Morally, to me, that's a pretty easy yes that it's bad.
depressed, we say it's because they don't express their feelings. If men get sick.
Insane comparison. It's the same though. It's exactly the same argument. Don't bring up toxic masculinity because you're going to alienate young men and make them feel bad for general problems. It's the same argument as you shouldn't teach about slavery in school because you're trying to make young white people feel bad and make them feel guilty about general problems. It's exactly the same argument, you know?
It's because they won't go to the doctor. If they fail at school, it's because they don't try hard enough. And that's a very far cry from how the term was originally meant to be used.
I think the term itself comes from a good intention, which is like, how can we create a healthier society for everyone involved? I think most of us would agree that there's a severe mental health problem in this.
I really don't like how confidently this host dismisses the validity of the term without even providing a definition. Like, the definition he implied was wrong, you know? I don't know. I think the problem with this term I've just misdefined is that we're not applying it correctly and it causes more harm than good. You're contributing to the culture of it being more harmful than good. You're reaffirming the tendency for people to hear it and instantly assume it means a criticism of all men. It's ridiculous. Oh boy. But Vaush, isn't that how trigger words work? It's not, there aren't trigger words. It's just a random academic term that gets brought up over and over and over again and maliciously misused by the right, including by this guy, in an effort to falsely give the impression that criticism of bad tendencies is an innate criticism of men, which is misandristic, by the way. It's misandry to say that. At the end of the day, virtue needs to be taught. There are elements of femininity and masculinity that are bad, all right? Like, the way they express themselves at times are bad. That's the case with everything. Literally all archetypes, all personality traits, everything that can be it exists on a spectrum from good to bad. There are various ways of doing it. Some are better than others. That has to be acknowledged, whatever term people want to use. But like, at the end of the day, again, this is a grift issue, okay? The only reason 90% of young men hear the term toxic masculinity, they're not reading the Huffington Post or the Guardian. They're hearing it because they're watching some retarded pedophile on YouTube explain to them how feminists want all men to be killed or whatever. They're hearing it from people who have a financial incentive to lie to them. Yeah, same with critical race theory. Same with all these terms. Like, don't pretend it's the term itself. People willfully lie about it because they make money from packaging the insecurity of young men and running with it, you know? Yes, and those retarded pedophiles define the semantic meaning of the phrase. Right, because they lie about it? Sure, but they do that with everything, including critical race theory. They say, you know, DEI is anti-white. I mean, do we let them define everything? We can't use anything ever because people on the right will lie about it?